The Clutha, New Zealand's mightiest river. A torrent that brought down fabulous wealth to the gold rush prospectors of the roaring 1860s. But a torrent that brought with it also disaster. Today, man has found a new wealth from the Clutha, more valuable than all its gold. 10 years ago, the Roxburgh hydroelectric scheme started. Those who knew the river predicted it would defy attempts to harness it for the largest hydroelectric power scheme in the southern hemisphere. Construction got underway, a partnership of machines and men to service them, utilizing the brawn and skill of men from 26 nations, who came to this rugged, deserted gorge in central Otago and began the impossible, to dam the Clutha. By the beginning of 1955, the river had been diverted and the outline of the Roxburgh Dam was taking shape. Over the years of its construction, a constant stream of new settlers came into Roxburgh to swell the labor force, which at its peak reached 1,400. Towards the latter stages of construction, work went on round the clock, the men working 2 12-hour shifts a day. The face of the dam is illuminated throughout the night by overhead lamps and the fitful glare of welders on the giant penstocks that will carry the waters to the turbines. In the grey light of dawn, state hydro linesmen string wires on the last pylons to Roxburgh, completing a lattice work of steel and wire that stretches out across the country to Christchurch, Dunedin and Invercargill. Road transport has spanned the quiet roads of central Otago, bringing to the dam site the essential supplies of equipment and material for construction. Nearly 8,000 tons of petroleum products alone, mainly diesel fuel and lubricants, have been supplied since the commencement of the Roxburgh contract. A major petroleum requirement has been the lubricants needed for the diversity of complex machinery, from shovels to circuit breakers, compressors to cableways, and hacksaws to generators. The Auckland skin diver, Les Sabitsky, dons his rubberized frogman suit. Before the sluice gates of the dam are closed, the channels must be checked to ensure there are no obstructions. The diver enters a tunnel in the dam and from the inside makes his descent below these piers in the diversion channel just upstream from the sluice gates. After his descent, the diver reports that all is clear at the bottom for the gates to be lowered. Above the sluiceways, seen from upstream, rises the bulk of the giant head towers, with their 3 massive spillway gates to control the outflow from the new lake. Already, the last of the wooden scaffolding is being lifted away as the dam nears the stage where the lake can be filled. But first, the last of the penstock gates has to be lifted into position. Each of the 8 gates, 20 feet square, weighs 19.5 tons. The 2 flying foxes, aerial ropeways, each with a safe lift limit of 10 tons, join forces to lift the massive gate, only the size of a postage stamp, against the upstream face of the dam. Silently, swiftly, the flying foxes whisk the gate to its place. They move upstream or down as required to position the heavy gate over the slots down which it will slide to seal off the penstock tube. When the dam is finished, there's a leak through the rock 100 feet below it, and the project engineer, Mr. Learmont, indicates to Mr. Downer, head of the contracting firm, where the seepage is coming from. It's decided to put down a further pattern of drilling and grouting to reduce seepage to a minimum. It's common in many dams to find an initial seepage through fissures in the foundation rock. Liquid cement is pumped down the holes at pressure up to 300 pounds per square inch. This grout filters its way through cracks and fissures, cementing the broken strata into a solid waterproof block. Now the dam stands ready. 1,300,000 tons of concrete to block the river, flood the valley and make a new lake stretching 21 miles back upstream to Alexandra. The powerhouse is ready, the penstocks are in place. The first generators are installed and ready to run. Midnight approaches, Saturday, July 21st, the time to stop the river. Ready to send down the sluice gate is the wife of the project engineer, Mrs. Learmont. The 80-ton sluice gate knifes down through the water, cutting off the flow of the river. The river is still. The fate of 10 years' work is now in the balance. At sunrise next morning, the water is lapping at the upstream earth coffer dam. As this is washed away, the first weight of water will flood against the dam. Cameramen watch as the coffer dam starts to crumble. Representatives of the contractors watch with confidence and excitement this first testing of the dam. 10,000 weekend cars choke the roads of central Otago to see whether the Clutha will be tamed. Downstream from the dam, thousands of eager prospectors start a gold rush that outdoes the bonanza days of the 60s. Frank Allen, still prospecting at 78, gazes at what no man had seen before, the bed of the Clutha. He tries a pan and sees the verdict. They'll get no gold today. Visitors are undaunted. Out comes the gear. The crowd's initial disappointment that the riverbed is not completely dry is soon forgotten. The weather is wonderful, and the picnic atmosphere replaces the gold fever. But there just might be some gold in the crevices. And at least you'll be able to tell your grandchildren about the day you walked across the bed of the mighty Clutha. The most persistent dig all day for gold. But the real wealth of the Clutha lies beyond its banks in the orchards and farmlands of central Otago. The water from Roxburgh, said the late Robert Semple in 1946, will turn central Otago into the pansy garden of the Pacific. Many thousands of acres of this sheep country suffer from lack of rainfall, and the rains after last summer's drought have brought forth only weeds. The grass has been killed. On the eve of Roxburgh's opening, Otago's far-sighted development council, chaired by Dunedin's mayor, Mr. L.M. Wright, meets to discuss plans to use Roxburgh's water to safeguard this pastureland and bring the province into greater fertility and production. An advisory body representing farming and business interests, the Development Council has already seen the carrying out of preliminary surveys for irrigation schemes covering many thousands of acres. Water will come from the new lake already forming at Roxburgh. And now they await the first power from Roxburgh, which could drive irrigation pumps, and which will immediately relieve the desperate shortages and drastic cuts which have beset South Island power users. The first water rests the spillways. Project manager Frank Hancock on the left and Charlie Kent, his construction supervisor, watch with pride the result of 10 years' work. The flow over the spillways increases. In the powerhouse, all is ready to start the first generator. The switch is thrown. Roxburgh sends out its first power. In Dunedin City, the lights come on. For the first time this winter, restrictions are on. For the housewife, the sky's the limit, provided, of course, you've got enough connections to plug everything into. In the South Island, and in Dunedin in particular, the new power is being put to many uses. At the Otago Dental School, for example, it runs the drills of 50 dental students. With land for new homes and factories available, Dunedin looks forward to new industry and increased population to join such established concerns as its steel foundries with their electric arc smelters. Power drives its mills. Power tips railway trucks at Dunedin's lime and cement works. Power drives slag crushers and is available for an endless variety of new tasks. the completion of Roxborough Hydro opens for Otago and the South Island a new gateway to progress.